So yeah, hey Sheila, thanks for inviting me here. So I'm Jamin Desai, the co-founder and CEO of Reconcile. Originally from New Jersey, went to school in Boston College, spent some time in San Francisco and met you there, and now based in New York City. Yeah, so we're working on Reconcile, which is meant to be this tax planning tool across asset classes to really help the next generation of investors optimize taxes just like the wealthy do. So what we really want to build out here and what we've been building over the past couple of months is a way for advisors and accountants to be able to see their clients' held away assets in stocks, crypto, employee stock options, real estate, and give themselves a way to see everything in one view, and then let our recommendation engine ingest the client data and say, okay, based on what your client's been doing, here's one, two, three, four different tax strategies that they can take on behalf of the client. And our go to market has kind of been this approach to go through the professionals, just because we realized regular folks don't really know how taxes work. So if we build a tool for professionals, indirectly the client will benefit just because the professional now has the intelligent tool like Reconcile to help them out, with the right strategy to pursue. Yeah, so I actually found out about a pretty big tax bill myself. And so that kind of inspired me to think about the millions of other new retail investors kind of coming online in the past 2 years. And also realizing that a lot of the kind of tax discussion we have in this country and many other countries really comes down to this like us versus the rich kind of mentality. And if you kind of think about it, many of the rich, ended up that way and also kind of maintain and preserve their wealth is because they have, the best tax accountants and advisors on their team to really guide them through legal tax loopholes. And so I thought to myself, why not kind of bring the same strategies down to the kind of 99% of us, and really help us, democratize access to those strategies. And I think the market is really quite big for something like this because most people think of taxes as just filing and compliance, but not really the kind of throughout the year tax planning that we want to bring to them. Yeah, so I learned a few of them in college when I was taking accounting classes. But yeah, I've kind of been a tax nerd all my life and just someone that likes to save money and make money. So something where I've on the edges and fringes thought about it and kind of learned about it. And over the past year and a half now, really building out Reconcile and also studying for the enrolled agent exam, learn more and more and more about what these people are doing. And going back to what I was saying earlier, it's one of the reasons why we're working through accountants and advisors and lawyers, because these guys have the real domain expertise when it comes to which pathway to choose, because sometimes these strategies can be quite a niche or just kind of unique in the way who it applies to. Yeah, so our team's about four people right now. We've got two full-time employees, two part-time employees. We're kind of a remote team, but actually moving towards more of a in-person model in New York and in Bangalore. We've also got four advisors who come to us from the legal, financial planning, and tax planning and accounting space. We've been backed by some great investors as well. Yeah, so we actually are just launching this month. We've been building it for the past couple months now. We've been in beta for the past 2 months, and before that, we're doing user research for 3 months. And then prior to this kind of iteration, we were working on a consumer product for taxes, and that product release was actually the kind of impetus for us deciding to work on this B2B2C play. Yeah, so for now, we're a kind of a federal tool. Each state is a bit unique in the way they kind of license tax products. And so to kind of avoid all of that scrutiny for now, we've just left that out. It's very simple for us to kind of bring that online, but for now, just really a federal tool. Yeah, so our positioning from kind of day one has been around the kind of capital gains and investment side of things and being more of a proactive throughout the year tool. So oftentimes the suggestions you might see in something like a TurboTax are more for like a tax credit to take at the end of the year after, everything's been kind of settled. which is completely different from what we're trying to recommend, which is to say before you realize a gain, can you use Reconcile to kind of get that proactive advice to figure out what you should be doing instead? So I'll give you kind of an example here. So if you're like a founder and you're about to sell your company, there's nothing that TurboTax will suggest to you to bring down that gain, but something like a Reconcile can help you say, oh, maybe you want to, set up the sort of trust or make sure, you sell in time to get QSBS qualified, which can help you save up to like $50 million in capital gains. So it's things like that of being more of a tool throughout the year rather than the kind of end of year suggestions that, TurboTax or like might give you.
Okay.
So for now, we are kind of a standalone platform, but we are actually in talks to connect with more tax planning and tax tools. So, one of the biggest problems that some of these accountants face is having a lot of different softwares. And so being able to kind of provide our real-time dynamic data to a lot of the tools that are just using static data is one of our core missions for this quarter. No, so what we allow for the accountants is for them to either link the accounts for their clients or invite their clients to link the accounts. So everything is mostly automated. We really try to stay away from manual entry just because we know how much pain there is around that and wanting us to be more of an automated solution for folks. Yeah, so I definitely use it myself quite a bit for my Robinhood and Coinbase activity. But in terms of the kind of a dollar saved for now, we're just launching, so don't have that number quite yet. But the kind of tax analytics we built into this tool are really designed to help folks save from things like wash sales, from tax loss harvesting, and also selling too early. And that's one of the biggest things we've seen. Oftentimes, investors don't really realize the difference between a short-term and long-term capital gain, and realizing that the short-term tax rate often, leads to paying 10, 15% more. And so what we try to do is really help them just wait, quite honestly. And if they wait just maybe a couple more days, we're talking about being able to save someone 10, 15% on a transaction, which, adds up to potentially a couple $1,000 if you're thinking about someone trading a lot on a larger portfolio. Yeah, so we're actually in kind of this like early launch pilot phase. We are in production, but haven't kind of quite announced the world yet. Our plan is to kind of go out with the bang kind of in early October. That way we're kind of ready for the kind of end of year tax loss harvesting timeline. And if someone wants to try it out now, they can reach out to me directly or go on our website, getreconcile.com. Yeah, well, I think it's just to put tax tech on the radar. I mean, if you think about the kind of industry at large, it's been really dominated by a couple of large players over the past 10, 15 years. You're talking about, nobody really enjoys taxes or dealing with them. I mean, even accountants and advisors really hate their jobs when it comes to the tax part of it. So would love to see more investment in the space, more talent kind of gravitating towards it, and really a focus on using or thinking of taxes as a positive way to think about, building and saving wealth for folks. What we say internally is if we can help save, someone 10, 20, 30% on their tax bills from investments, you can also kind of think of it as giving someone like a 10, 20, 30% boost in their salary just because they're not really paying that money in taxes, right? So there's very few fintechs that I see that have the power to provide as much value to the consumer in terms of money back into their pockets, like what we're doing. And so, I think it's a great space and I'm really excited about it.
Right.
Thank you, Sheila.